Hi there, thank you for joining me for our third video in my three-part series at the moment on Aspergers. Something I was inspired to do very recently by a TV programme that I watched to help raise awareness of Aspergers. And just to very briefly reiterate that on the first video we touched on how I felt as a child at school and making friends, and how I've had sanctuary in my hobbies, and when I first discovered ASMR as a way of relaxation, and it helps me, it centers me. And then in the second video I touched on how I felt when I had to leave school and the prospect of university and interviews and my career path, the walls that I had to climb, and how I often found myself retreating, but I always put myself back out there, but found ways that helped me. The importance of everybody finding their own way that helps them get through their day. And as I mentioned, I haven't been officially diagnosed with Aspergers, but I was recommended to take the test and I scored pretty high, and I've taken another one and similarly, and I think it's something that you just know in yourself. For many years punishing yourself that you feel different, and as I describe it, a triangle in a round world, that you didn't get the handbook to life, that you're socially awkward and you fear everyday situations, you're happy in your own company and you escape completely into projects that you do, and you struggle with eye contact. And before I just carry on with the third video, if you are somebody that does recognise any of those symptoms, don't feel that you have to go to the doctors and get yourself, clinically diagnosed, because I also recognise for myself, and this is just me, that the prospect of actually getting out and getting to the doctors and dealing with the receptionist and dealing with the people in the reception and dealing with the doctor, these are all hurdles for you, and maybe just you finding out yourself that perhaps you have Aspergers might be enough to know or put your mind at rest that you're not just as some people would say, weird or introvert or strange or nerd, or you're simply you, and you do what works for you. And when I have touched on this sometimes with other people, their first instinct is to almost mend you, cure you, which that's not the point. The point is, this is just simply how we're wired up. It's more about rubbing along nicely together. I don't want to change you, so please don't change me. I don't want someone to suddenly grab me and cuddle me, and I find that very invasive. I'm not particularly good at the general social interaction, let alone cuddles and things like that. in one of the books that I wrote, I described myself as a hedgehog, in the nicest possible way. I think I have a big heart, and I think I'm caring. Obviously others might say differently. I think I can be a bit mean sometimes by accident. I probably put my hands up to that. But I am a little bit scratchy and just happy in my own space. So I just wanted to touch on that again and maybe recognise, as I say, some of those traits. And we are what we are. So just continuing with this third video, and obviously, as I said, we've gone through the childhood and gone through the stages of interviews and the many jobs that I've done, and I have done quite a few, some more successfully than others. But my passion was always to have my own business, and I had some along the way, and I've lost some along the way, and I've put myself back out there along the way. And currently, which is going to seem the strangest thing for somebody that doesn't like social interaction, is I own with my husband now a pub and a restaurant. It's a combined business. Previous to that, we built a late night bar stroke nightclub, and even when I think about that, I almost not chuckle inside, because it is literally everything that I shouldn't be doing. And I think it's certainly an avenue that has helped me grow tremendously, and I've learnt an awful lot about myself, what works for me and what certainly doesn't work for me. I went through some awful times, more so in our last place when we had the late night place, and again from escaping into projects and losing myself. I thoroughly enjoyed the designing of the business and the creating of the business, and seeing it grow just from my drawings. I had complete satisfaction doing that side of things. I didn't like interacting so much with our builders and the workmen, because I felt socially awkward, but I was lucky enough to have my partner, obviously is now my husband, deal with that side of things. So I would send the letters and do emails were just really coming about then, so doing the emails, and he was the voice and I was kind of the business behind the scenes, really, and that worked. What I did find exceptionally difficult was the social interaction with customers, with people, the whole kind of day-to-day running thing, and certainly working behind the bar was a complete no-no for me. The thought of being behind a bar, trapped behind a bar with people looking at me, wanting something off me, filled me with complete fear and dread. For the couple of times that I tried it, and I did try it several times, and even when I was very young, I did try and get a couple of jobs working in a pub, which was short-lived. I enjoyed it, but I just felt completely awkward. I would also find that when people were talking, I couldn't hear the words that they were saying. I'm not sure if that sounds silly. It's just really noises that I could hear, and having to do that and also pour the drink at the same time or put something through the till. I was distracted by all the other noises going around. It was so loud, everything was so noisy, and I couldn't hear. And upset me and get me very stressed. So I knew I probably wouldn't be working behind the bar when we had our late night place. But it wasn't even so much that. We were on a couple of floors. There was a ground floor and a first floor, and then the top floor was the accommodation. Like in many pub situations, you live above the licensed premises, and we had the DJ on the first floor and a bar, and the door to my flat would come down straight into the bar area where the DJ was, and obviously the bar staff, and then the people around the bar. And that used to just fill me with horrendous nights of fear. I would get myself together to come down to the bar, but I knew it would take anything up to several hours to get downstairs, and some nights I wouldn't even make it down through the door. Those steps, it was like walking into a den of lions. You know, what would I do to get through the door? And then behind the door, what if someone says hello? What if I don't hear? What if I don't recognise somebody that I know? And I'd practice it over and over in my head to go through the door, look up, pull up the bar to get through it, maybe smile at someone, and go through the top floor, downstairs to the ground floor, say hello to maybe the doorman that was there. And I made it into like a set routine. If I can get through the first base, the second base, the third base, the fourth base, and then get myself into a situation at the bar, find somebody that I recognise, somebody that I know, have a drink and sit there and just literally acclimatise, work out who was in around me, who would I know, and just sit there. And certainly within half an hour I'd be a completely different person. I was then, after a couple of drinks, able to relax, socially interact. I always felt the alcohol back then did help to a certain extent, and I know you shouldn't rely on things like that, but it was just a way of me relaxing and just being able, what I felt then, to be more human, more normal. And that's how I spent many evenings for many years. But it was exhausting and tearful, and I beat myself up about it, and I wonder why I couldn't do it, and I felt disappointed. It was certainly a roller coaster of a couple of years. And then when we came to sell that business, we decided to move to where we are now. And in this business now, I've been there 14 years, and I've had to mould it to suit me, I guess. When we first got there, everyone of course expects you to be behind the bar to serve the drinks and take the food orders. And again, I tried to push myself into that situation, and was winning maybe for a little while. Every evening I'd be listening to self-help CDs to try and reduce my anxiety or increase my confidence, trying to understand why I couldn't do what everyone else seemed to find that came quite naturally. If I was put in a situation where I had to go to the bank manager, because I had grown in my skin somewhat, I could do a business proposal, I could almost do the bigger things, but the everyday tasks I was still struggling with tremendously. Obviously, our accommodation was again above the pub and restaurant, and certainly for the first couple of years, and I still have it now, where I stand at the top of the staircase and I know I've got to go down the staircase to get into the bar. And you arrive straight behind the bar and you have the people there, and there's some people waiting to be served. What I have learned over the years, again, bases and triggers that help me get to a stage where it works for me. It's not ideal, perhaps by any extent, but I will go down the stairs and I can hear absolutely everything, and I can assess quite quickly how busy it is, but I'll go down and turn my back on everyone to start with, and I'll light a candle or light an incense and listen to what's going on behind me, so when I turn around I'm almost ahead of the game slightly. And then I would always walk through my business now just to see what's going on and sort of smile, but keep my head down a little bit, tidy a few tables, do a few things. As I go through, I can kind of assess all the way through, probably get to the toilet area and things, check that's clean, tidy, take a breather. If I go into one of the cubicles to tidy it, that's my island of safety momentarily. This will seem so strange to some people, but it just works for me. This is how I get through it. Then I'll come back through again, and then I'm slightly more comfortable, and then I might say good evening to a few people and stop for a chat, and again kind of basically position myself with a group of people or on my own, talk to my team, and there I am. I'm fine to a certain extent, but that is a ritual that gets me through, moving myself on every single day. I know I'm never going to be jumping behind the bar serving. I keep trying to do it, and all I hear is letters, noise, and I know my strengths are elsewhere. I'll spend a considerable amount of time in the morning cleaning the place, getting it how I like, because again I do like order. So to others that might be a negative I don't know, not attribute, but people might hate cleaning. For me, when I clean and get things sorted, it clears my mind, it calms me down. When it's not sorted, my head feels all jumbled up as well, it feels foggy. So I like to have order. When I promote, I'm pleased that I've promoted the business. I can do something like that this side of the screen, with social media, with marketing, with websites, with interacting with people. I can do all that. We've built our business up in different avenues. Again, a lot of that I can do that on my own, in my solitude, and the rest of it, find rituals and routines that work to get me through that moment, in that hour, in that day, and that keeps pushing me forward. And I'm not going to lie, some days are better than others. Some days it all falls to pieces, and I'm hard on myself and disappointed in myself. And then I have to find again the strength to pick myself up, or I've learnt now also just to give in to those feelings momentarily, go and do something that I can just switch off to or relax to almost turn me back to the reset factory setting, and then when I'm happier and feel safer in myself, carry on. And I enjoy what I do, and I'm pleased that I have pushed myself into these avenues, whether it be my pub and restaurant, or whether it be the writing or the YouTube, or whatever I do. I just have to do what works for me, be kinder to myself, and know that stop perhaps thinking what's expected of me, and just doing more of what I like to do. pleased I've done these 3 videos for Aspergers, again, mainly to help raise awareness. I find it healthy to talk about rather than hide behind. As I've said, it's not something that needs to be fixed. We're just wired up a little bit differently. There are a couple of really good books out there. One of them I actually read out on one of my YouTube channel videos. It's just a picture book with just a few words on each page and these beautiful pictures of the animals. Just looking around to see if I actually have one to hand. I'm not sure if I do, I don't think so. But it helps explain to others who don't have these heightened senses what it's like to feel so high and feel so low, and to hear so much and smell so much, and that you are actually very happy in your own space. And if you know of somebody, that has these traits, to allow them to simply be, allow them to be who they are. So again, thanks for joining me, and I hope to see you very soon. Take care.